Hey guys, so I'm back with another book review, and to be quite honest, I was debating whether or not to do this book review because I know that a lot of the book channels are for teens, and I didn't find this book appropriate for the ages between like 13 and 16, and I feel that a lot of kids that do watch, or teens that do watch the book reviews, are between the age of 13 to 16, and therefore I wasn't sure if I should do this review. I kind of had lots of mixed feelings about it, but I decided that I felt that I was going to refer to this book a lot with a couple of my next book reviews, therefore I decided to do it. And the reason I'm saying that is because the few books that I have read after I read this book have just not met my standards. I feel like this book has changed my reading standards, and which in a way that's kind of a bummer because I used to be like, oh my god, this book is so good right off the bat, and the last couple books that I have read after this just were like, oh, okay, this is just another story. And the book that I want to review today is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larson, and I'm just going to read the back really fast. It says, Harriet Wenger, son of one of Sweden's wealthiest families, disappeared over 40 years ago. All these years later, her aged uncle continues to seek the truth. He hires Michael Blomkvist, a crusading journalist recently trapped by a libel conviction, to investigate. He is aided by the pierced and tattooed punk prodigy Elizabeth Slander. Together, they tap into a vein of unfathomable quantity and astonishing corruption. So, this is what the book looks like, and I'm sure you guys heard a bunch of buzz about it. There is a Swedish movie about it, and apparently they're filming an American version of this, but let me just say, oh my goodness, this was amazing, amazing. I just can't explain how much I love this. At first I was like, this is a little slow, I'm not really into it. And then once I hit around page 100, that's where everything took off. The beginning kind of talks about this journalist, and he wrote a story using some false information, and he goes to trial with the person that he accused of, whatever he accused them of, and he gets taken off the board of, the board of journalists or whatever that he's on for his board of editors. That's what he's on. He's an editor, and he gets taken off that, and for like a couple of months. And in the meantime, he has to go to. He sees this guy, Mr. Wenger, and his niece disappeared over 40 years ago. And he doesn't know what happened to her. He basically, his whole life has spent obsessing over this mystery, and he wants to know what happened. Is she alive? Is she dead? Pretty much. And so he hires this journalist to find out. And obviously, in the back it says something about a girl named Elizabeth Slander who he meets along the way, and she's basically a hacker, and she has a lot of like emotional issues, and they together try to solve this mystery. It is amazing. I could not put it down after page 100. I literally read this into the night, and I just could not put this down. That's how good it was. And it usually takes me a while to finish a book, and even if, especially if it's not something that I'm interested in, I'm just reading it to read it just to finish it, it takes me a long time. And this literally took me almost 3 days, and it's around, I'll tell you how many pages it is. It's 644 pages. So it's like 200 or so pages a day. And the reason I love this book so much is because what you think is going to happen isn't what's going to happen. And the whole time you're like, oh my god, I know who did it. I know who committed the crime. And then you find out that it's way more twisted than it really is. And I really like those kind of books where you think you know what's going on, but then you don't really know what's going on. The only thing I want to say that why I would say that it's not for kids, like teens that are under the age of 16, is because there is some sexual contact and really descriptive imaging that even I'm 18, and some of the things that were written in this, I was just like, oh my goodness, and it gave me chills, like I can't believe that this is really happening. So that is why I say that teens under 16 should not read it. Also, give it a try. And the other thing I found with this book is that the first couple pages is just like, I don't really understand what's going on, and you just have to give it time to get into the book because it really takes off and it's really, really, really good. Yeah, so let me just read. I'm just going to read you like a page, a random page, just so you guys get a feel for this. It says, Blomkvist wondered whether this fraud was another one of the true slayers who could reveal the secret mental hospital where Sappho, the security police, ran experiments on thought control. I don't make house calls, he said. I hope I can convince you to make an exception. My client is over 80, and for him, it would be too exhausting to come down to Stockholm. If you insist, we could certainly arrange something, but to tell you the truth, it would be preferable if you would be so kind. Who is your client? A person whose name I suspect you have heard in your work, Henrik Wenger. Blomkvist leaned back in surprise. Henrik Wenger? Of course he had heard of him. An industrialist and former head of the Wenger companies, once owned in the fields of sawmills, mines, steel, metals, textiles. Wenger had been one of the really big fish in his day, with a reputation for being an honorable, old-fashioned patriarch who would not bend in a strong wind, a cornerstone of Swedish industry, one of the 20-point stags of the old school, along with Mats Carlgren of Moodoo and Hans Werthen at the old Electrolux, the backbones of the industry and the welfare state, etc. But the Wenger company, still family-owned, had been racked in the past 25 years by reorganization, stock market crisis, interest crisis, competition from Asia, declining exports, and other nuisances which, taken together, had consigned the name Wenger to the backwater. The company was run today by Martin Wenger, whose name Blomkvist associated with a short, plump man with thick hair who occasionally flickered past on the TV screen. So, definitely, if you guys are interested in, like, corruption and different parts of industries, I guess, this is really good, because it's a mystery, and there's murder, and there's love, and there's also a bunch of things about this company, because it's really big, and obviously the girl is from the family that owns the company, so she has this huge, huge, huge association with the company, and it's really, really good. So I think I mentioned that like 3 times already, but I definitely recommend you guys to give this book a try. It's definitely a must read, and I hope you guys enjoyed my review, and I'll see you guys later. Bye guys!